Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our first webinar for WiEP. That's Women in Ethereum Protocol. And I woke up this morning feeling so awesome just to be a woman. So today that we are acknowledging and celebrating International Women's Day, so I am just so thankful to have all of you women present. I hope everyone is feeling amazing. If nothing else, amazing to just be here in the presence of so many amazing, great women that are adding so much value to the ecosystem. I'm LaDonna Higgins. I work at the Ethereum Foundation. And like I said before, I just really love being a woman. So I thought about what could I do to support more women and bring more women into the Ethereum ecosystem. And so through some collaborations and partnerships, I came up with the idea of WiEP. And that's one so that we can bring more women in on the protocol side. And so that's where our efforts are being focused at, but also we wanted to create a safe space so that we can also understand some of the pain points and issues that women are having either entering the space or enjoying and loving being in the space. So that's a little bit about why we created WiEP and where we're going with it. We had our first launch in Denver at ETH Denver. We partnered with Edge City, and it was a really great event. Just to share the space and listen to some projects that women were working on and to understand like how we can support them in the projects that they were currently working on, as well as discuss partnerships and how we can just, be of support. So today, again, we're here just to celebrate all of our accomplishments, all of our contributions to the ecosystem, and we have put together some really great speakers that are going to share their stories on their experience, their journey in the ecosystem. So at this time, I will pass it to my colleague, Pooja, and she will give you more details about WiEP.
Thank you so much, LaDonna. And I welcome everyone again to our special International Women's Day webinar. I'm Pooja Ranjan, the herder-in-chief at Ethereum Cat Herders. It's basically a group of contributors to support Ethereum protocol development, educate the community about Ethereum R&D, and onboard new contributors to the ecosystem. Today, we are here to celebrate incredible achievement of women in Ethereum space, to share stories of resilience, innovation, and leadership, and to discuss how we can further break barriers and build more inclusive features. We have great speakers lined up for today's event. But before that, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the group, Women in Ethereum Protocol, even further, and familiarize you all with the present membership we offer and why should you join the Ethereum Protocol development. I'm going to have a quick presentation here. This is from the same the launch event. So women who have already joined may be aware, but for women who could not join us in person, I think this is for you. So as we are celebrating Women's Day, we will also celebrate some women from the Ethereum ecosystem. And that would be right after this presentation. But before that, we will just try to briefly introduce you to the group here. About a year ago, Forbes published a report which was based on a survey conducted in 2021. It suggested that out of 121 leading blockchain companies, only 4.13% was founded by women. The following year, Consensus, a popular blockchain organization, organized partnership with Black Women in Blockchain to onboard 500,000 women blockchain developers to address the diversity problem by 2030. There aren't much stats available on women protocol developers, but I suppose you have got an idea of the need of women developers in this space. This brings us to the birth of WiEP, Women in Ethereum Protocol. The goal of this group is to drive innovation, foster collaboration, and shaping up the Ethereum protocol. In late 2023, a group of people from Ethereum Foundation, Ethereum client team, and researchers started discussing the diversity in Ethereum ecosystem. Not only we would like to promote diversity in the client, but also in the development team. Together, with Ethereum cat herders, Ethereum Protocol Fellowship, and support of Ecosystem Support Program, WiEP was created. The proposed structure offered membership as protocol contributor, which are the key contributors. We would like to onboard more women developer on the ELCL client side. For the client development, we have 5 execution layer and 5 consensus layer clients. So we have a huge room for onboarding women on there. And then we have protocol research. We do have people working on DevNet and testnet support. So we would love to have more participation, more diversity on the protocol development side. EIP documentation, review and implementation are also another section where we would love to get more support, get them tested, get them implemented, and reference implementation could be referred for clients. Advisors, definitely to help us support, move this group forward. And then there is a group of allies where we are looking to connect with a different ecosystem project, maybe collaborate with them in terms of supporting with hackathons, public good grants if there are available, so on and so forth. As per the plan, we did our launch event at Denver last week. LaDonna just mentioned about that. And today we are celebrating Women's Day with all of you. We hope to get connected. We hope to stay connected. And for this, we have decided for another meetup, which would be about a month later on 5th April at 1400 UTC. We are planning to support Ethereum Protocol Fellowship. Currently, they are with the study group, 10 weeks study group program. So we'll hope to provide you more information about that. And further, when they will have the cohorts open, how you can participate in that and how you can become a cohort of, join the cohort here. After listening to all this, I hope you have got some answers and may have gotten some reasons why would you like to join WiEP or even consider Ethereum protocol development. There are multiple reasons, but I would like to share a few. Number one is flexibility of work. All these clients provide work from home, work from office, very good environment, work for as per your convenience time. Ethereum provides equal opportunity and reward. It's hard to believe, but when you will get into the ecosystem, you would learn more about it. Maybe in upcoming meetings, we can share more information on that. I believe that when we are working with Ethereum, we are industry leaders. Ethereum is the leading blockchain which has the most number of active contributors, active developers. So when you are a part of this ecosystem, I believe you are sharing lights for others. You are inviting your youngers and giving them the right way to move forward with. We want to build a diverse protocol ecosystem, and thus I would say women elevate Ethereum with us. Here on the call today, we are joined by LaDonna, Hsiao, and I as your point of contact to join the WiEP group. We do have a Discord channel, and you can also reach out to us on email as well as on Twitter. Feel free to ask any questions you have here or later. And with that, I would like to pass it on to LaDonna. I know she wants to celebrate some of the women here.
Yes, I wanted to highlight one of my colleagues today I work with at the Ethereum Foundation who has just been promoted, Becca Sharman. She's been promoted to DevOps lead at the Ethereum Foundation. And I feel like we have to take every opportunity to celebrate all of our accomplishments, because if we don't do it, they might fall in the cracks. So I chose Becca today to celebrate her and her many accomplishments and her new role as DevOps lead.
Thank you, LaDonna. And I think this is a good way to move forward. And we provide this opportunity to hear the insight and experience from protocol contributors. Let me first invite Hsiao Wang. She is a researcher at Ethereum Foundation.
So today it's a Women's Day celebration. So I kind of want to have a more intimate conversation today, like to talk about something like more personal. About me. So I based on in Taipei, Taiwan, and I was a backend engineer before I joined the Ethereum world and the crypto world. So I joined the Ethereum Foundation research team in 2017. So many times that I was not only the only woman in the room, I also the oldest person in the room in all this. And yeah, so I'm now working at the Ethereum Foundation Consensus R&D team, and we are a dynamic team to help deliver the Ethereum protocol. So I'm part of this huge space station, and we have like more than 20 teams working daily on the Ethereum research and development. So like the milestones and the targets are like space colonization, and it requires multiple teams to reach a consensus together. So it's need a lot of coordination and collaboration in this work. Yeah, and sometimes that it would a new research topic pops up, then the ship has to adjust the destination during the development. And so like Pooja mentioned all the good stuff, all the optimistic stuff in the ecosystem, but it's also full of chaos, to be honest. Like we have the regular meetings at 10 p.m., 1 a.m., or like 6 a.m. for like based on where you are. And we have in-personal meetups, but it takes like 20-hour flights for me sometimes. So, and sometimes the roadmap keeps changed, and the development just has to follow up with the research. But I think the good thing is that like all teams are very motivated and very collaborative. It's my honor to work with so many outstanding and talented people, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, and
Hsiao, sorry to interrupt. The left of your slide is cropped. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Issue. So I'm cheating. I'm using this.
This size is good.
Presenter view. Thank you. Okay. So yeah. So where were we? Yeah. Just we're not working for one single startup company. We are working for the protocol that changes people's life in a better way. And so today, I think of some advices for people who want to join it, but it's not just for women, it's also for like everyone. Like also the first is like think the geography boundaries is less a thing for Web3 industry. Like for example, this is the locations of the core developments leading to the merge work. Yeah, so I don't know how many women on this statistics, but you can see how geography diverse it is. And the second thing I wanted to say is I think I keep hearing Danny mention it, and it's an open truth that the gate of Ethereum protocol R&D is incredibly open. Like we have on board many very good researchers from research forums, and we have all the works are on GitHub repo repository. They are all open source that if a new developer, they can join and open PR make contribution very soon. And we also have the onboarding programs like EPF. I guess Sogol will introduce it more later. Yeah, so and so make the SWOT of like if you are considering joining this ecosystem, that what would you think? I think the first the strengths, remote work is fun. Like you can like most like many clients they provide the remote work opportunities that they can choose your work time in very flexible ways. And if you don't want to see the people every day, then you don't have. But also it's double-edged that remote work can also be hard because like you have to have meetings at some weird time zone with your colleagues in another in like we have teammates in London, in New York, in Taiwan, for example. Like we have to think it's hard. And also it's but I think the most thing that impressed me is like my original motivation is the Ethereum community and the culture itself, that it's a very unique experience that that can fight can fight all the other weaknesses and threats, I think. And yeah, and for the opportunities that you can meet worldwide people and different cultures. And also wanted to mention the protocol guild a bit, that we have so for the researchers and local devs, we have a small, but it's like about 150 people, I think. It's it's not a DAO yet, but it's like organizations that people can donate some support for the L1 Ethereum L1 development, and we get financial support from this organization. Yeah, and there are also some threats of like I think all the risks are similar to what startup jobs will bring you, and also like in the family gathering tables that you would be asked like, what do you do? And you have to introduce my previous slide again to your family. Yeah, and yes. Yeah, and I think if I want to mention something, especially for women, I guess the life balance might be a bit more challenge if you are mother or like have more responsibility on you. And yes, but I hope that I hope this group will be the one of the source that makes it more mitigated, and let's try to solve it. That's my sharing, and I also want to use the chance to give my appreciation to Pooja and LaDonna, who actually helping this group. And I was so lazy, and it won't be safe without them. And also I want to thank many people that has been so supportive. Actually, like it's also a Women's Day, but I also want to thank my partner, and because it's who has supported me for more than 10 years, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, that's my sharing. And yeah, next I will pass to Sajida, who worked as a product manager for one of the Ethereum client, Besu.
So hey everyone, my name is Sajida. I'm based in France, in the south, in Toulouse. My background is in engineering. I've been in the Ethereum space since 2015. So in this slide, I'm just gonna go over my professional experience and then we can dive more. I started as a research engineer in a big telecommunication company in France. Where I was doing some work about critical data transmission over complex networks. I discovered Bitcoin actually during that time, and it completely threw me off my main project. So I was spending 50% of my time during the last years working on Bitcoin, doing meetups and stuff like that. So I'll tell you more about that. And after that, I could not let go. So I quickly joined the blockchain space. I joined Consensus in 2017. It was completely random. I was doing an event on a boat trip that was crossing the Atlantic, and I reached New York, and I was like, well, might as well stay a week. And I attended some of the women in blockchain meetups there. It was great that there was an active community already. And I met a woman there that was working at Consensus, and she was like, well, if you don't have anything to do on Thursday, just come hang out at the office. I was like, are you sure? Okay. And so I went, spent the day, discussed with many people from, back in the day, MetaMask, Truffle, and all. And at the very last hour, I actually met with HR person who was like, hey, why don't you send a resume? I was like, sure, will do. I came back to France, did not, because I felt like that was, coming from France, I couldn't see myself working in an international setting. That was not something that my friends were doing. I was like, this is crazy, this is never gonna work. And then a few months later, I finished my contract with the telecommunication company, and I was like, okay, might as well just, try and write an English resume. It could be useful. And, why not just send it to Consensus? And so I did, and actually I was contacted back, and then Joseph Lubin offered me some positions there, and I joined a team that was working on data, which was like one of my main topic at the moment. So I joined, and I switched to a completely remote, English-speaking, with time zone differences environment, which was quite challenging, but I was super excited. So during my time at Consensus, I worked on longitudinal data management, I worked on privacy, cryptography, and I was lucky to start a project with one of another French woman, actually a cryptographer, that met me during a hackathon I organized in France, and we created Hellhound. So Hellhound is a cryptographic project around privacy. After that, I spent some time at Tezos because I really wanted to discover another space, because I've only knew Ethereum so far. After that, there was the COVID, and it was also the bull run, if you remember, DeFi summer, all that stuff. And yeah, I discovered another facet of my personality, I guess. Anyway, and so then after that, Consensus people reached out to me again. And it was actually a very interesting time because it's one of the protocol engineer that I hired when I founded Hellhound that stayed at Consensus, became a protocol engineer in the Bezu team, and reached out to me when Tim Becca was moving to the Ethereum Foundation. I was like, hey, why not do product management? I can see you being a PM. I was like, are you sure? Like, I've been mostly doing research stuff. Like, yeah, just try it. And so I tried it and it worked. So within a week, I became the PM of Bezu. And 1559 was just rolling out, discovered all this hard fork craziness, EIP madness. That was awesome. And then the merge. So when I arrived, the merge was very much on the horizon. It was just great to see the core dev community working together to make this happen. So I'll share more about that after. And so currently, I worked as a product manager at BlockNative, which is a company working on infrastructure. So still, I guess, in the deep layers of the stack, which is where I guess I found my happy place. And we're working on mempool, visibility, observability, and all this good stuff. So, okay. So I think I told you before, I threw some pictures in these slides like a kindergarten project because there is no structure. I'm just going to tell you stuff. So when I first discovered blockchain, it was thanks to a hackathon in Dublin. It was the first blockchain hackathon in Europe. And I went there. I started working on a project called Kidner with some strangers that I met there. And it was the only project in the room that was not Bitcoin related. It was a social impact project, and it was based on this economy Nobel Prize that wrote about broken markets. What do you do when supply and offer are mismatched? And so you can see that in the real estate sector. You can see that in academia, for example, when you're trying to grant money to students, but there is not enough money for everyone to go around. And you can see that in healthcare, in the organ market. The issue is when there is a broken market around kidney, for example, you have traffic, you have crime that rise, etc. And so the idea was to say, hey, can we create a process where if we have one person that needs a kidney and one other that is willing to give that person a kidney, but they're not a match, can they enter a system where we can cross them? So do a kidney paired exchange. And that concept actually exists at a local stage. For example, it was done in the US with chains of people who, by working together, enabled many transplants, but it does not scale because of the siloed information systems. And so you could have a perfect match for someone that could unlock such a dispositif, but it's, you know, behind the border and the systems are not communicating, so you would never know, and you know, might die on the list waiting. So the idea was to say, hey, can we do something with blockchain there? And what can we do also with cryptography? Because obviously these are very sensitive data. So at that point in my head, it was really about social impact. What can blockchain do besides Bitcoin, finance stuff, etc.? How can we leverage the key value proposition that blockchain is bringing to unlock some other sectors? So I was really obsessed by that. And can transparency and confidentiality work together? Or, you know, can't we have it at all if we're using blockchains? So anyway, so I started working on this. In parallel, I started organizing hackathons because I really liked that when I attended. And so the Blockfest with some people. Actually, if you take a look at this picture, it's pretty funny because so these are all French people, but some you may know. This is Clément from Kleros. This is Nicolas Becca from, you know, the co-founder of Ledger. This is Mark Zeller in the background from AAV. And so it's funny because these were the early days, you know, just kind of messing around with the technology, not knowing exactly what was going to happen. And it's great to see that from 2015 to today, how much this ecosystem grew and what everybody, you know, created. The other thing that I did, and I think that's echo a bit what Hsiao said, you get solicited a lot, especially by the media, when you start doing anything that is, you know, innovative, disruptive, whatever. And so something that I tried to do, and it was a bit hard, was to just kind of do some podcast and discuss about my experience, but from a more vulnerable standpoint. So for example, this one that I posted here, it's called basically how to fail to better restart. I don't know if that translates very well, but the idea is to say, so for example, for me, before going into engineering, I did a med school, and then I had to reorient myself because I really didn't like it. And when I was in high school, I didn't know about engineering at all because there is no one in engineering in my family. Nobody told me in high school I could go to engineering school. So I discovered it in the middle of my first med school year when I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And so having to do that choice and basically being without any plan for the future for a few months, with all the pressure that comes with the family, etc., that was really hard. And so, yeah, so I really wanted to speak about that because there is a lot of fear about reorientation. And it can be when you're young as a student, if you're doing something that you don't really like, there might be another path for you. You don't really have to necessarily keep in a lane because it was decided or because there are any expectation. What really worked for me is just going after whatever I found amusing or like whatever I was curious about and just do it. And usually if you like what you're doing, you're going to succeed. So Hellhound. Yeah, this one was a bit, was funny. So I included it. So you see this this creation here. So my co-founder and I, Amira, that you can see here, we wanted to do a project, but we wanted it to be fun because cryptography is super obscure. It is hard to make people excited about, you know, math in general, unless they already are. And so we're like, okay, we have this cool project. We could explain what blind computation is, but why not make people play a game and discover it by their own experience? And so we created an escape room. We created a universe around that with characters so each character was actually a module in the system that we were building on the platform. So I didn't put all the pictures here, but you can click the links. The node that are running the computation, like everything was gamified. And then we went to Prague for DEFCON 4. We had this room and we made the people from the conference play, and it was awesome. And it made them discover our project, but it was also like, I think one of the, recognized as one of the best events on the privacy track. So we're pretty happy about that because we're not game designers. But that was a fun experience. So then after that, when I joined Consensus again to work on Bezu, I joined an awesome team of protocol engineers. We're very close. It was interesting because the merge felt like not something impossible, but definitely something very complicated with many moving parts that had to lock in kind of at the same time so that it could work. And as you may have experienced already, both from a technical and human perspective, it is hard to have everything aligned and work, especially when there is so much at stake. So it was an awesome experience to be doing that. I shared this picture because, as you can see, and as always, I'm always the kind of only woman in the room, and I feel like every one here might have had the same experience. But it's not always a problem because a lot of time the room is filled with pretty amazing people. So another example of that is this picture. That was a historical moment captured by Ben, who was the PM at Teku. He's now at Optimism. And basically that was the first time we saw the merge happening when we were testing it in Greece. This was, I think, the highlight of my experience on the merge. Gathering with 40 core devs, working on like a full week to go through milestone, have clients working together in many combination, one-to-one, and then multi-client to multi-client, like seeing all this process, like how do you actually make the merge happen, being in that sort of mechanics. That was amazing to watch and see happen. And it was amazing when it worked at the final day as expected, which honestly kind of never happens, but it did, so magical. The other thing that I really liked is the vibe and the culture. And that's why I'm happy that I went into other ecosystems just to see it and be able to compare. Like, we love being in the Ethereum community, but do we have a bias or something? But I've worked with other protocols, with other teams, and honestly, I can say that Ethereum is very special. The people there are very smart, but also very humble and very welcoming. And it's really based on merit, which in a way is comforting because you know that the more you contribute, the more you'll be able to get in, to be working on something meaningful, etc. And that's just kind of the only requirement there, which makes life simpler and create a very healthy environment, I think. More on everything that I said available on this blog post. Something else that I wanted to point out in this slide is you do not have to be a coder or developer to participate in protocol development. You can help testing. So for example, for the merge, a big part of the success of it was testing the merge, compiling information, etc. So for example, I was working on this Notion testing leaderboard. That was something that I was doing on the side for the community. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight that, to make that point that there are many ways to participate, help support, move things forward without actually needing to have a developer profile. Another thing that I did actually with Pooja was participate in the Ethereum cat herders. That was a bit stressful. I don't know if you've seen many videos of the pip and nip. They're very technical. So I was like, what am I gonna say? You know? But actually it went well. So yeah, just talking about the basic clients, explaining several stuff about it. That was awesome. And I think it's good to have research like that, because I always think that I would have liked, when looking at the playlist, to find more women doing it. So that's kind of what motivates me sometimes to say yes when I'm asked to do something, even though, yeah, it's not always the most comfortable speaking in public. And so currently with Block Native, the things that I'm working on, I'm in the MEV chain post PBS world with all of the complexities of the supply chain. And so, yeah, this was from an article that I wrote from when I started at Block Native, I think, yes, early November 2022. And then more recently at DevConnect, I did a talk around observability and censorship in Ethereum. So it's pretty interesting because you can see sort of the evolution. And yeah, and then you get to do memes. So I was just showing like sort of the scale of things that you could be doing if you work in the protocol environment. There is what's happening on Ethereum itself, but there is also a lot of other moving parts that are connected to the base layer that are also interesting to research and actually bring more questions, maybe sometimes threats that mix computer science, but also economics. And then there are some issues around visibility and observability. So if you are, for example, more of a data-oriented profile, you can bring something there because maybe you're able to do some research, show some dashboards, help people understand what's going on in the ecosystem. And then that helps people doing research and then implementation come up with solution. So really the landscape of problems to solve in Ethereum is super large, and I feel it can be a match for many different style of profiles. Yeah, okay. So this last slide is just about showing that it's not just a geek environment. So something that I started in 2017 or 18, when I was doing conferences, traveling, really meeting with the Ethereum space, was reporting everything on Instagram to try to create a to show that it can be fun, basically, and appeal to a certain category of person that might be like, this is too nerdy for me, like I don't know what the people in this space are doing, etc. And so just to try to bring them in. So that was the Looking for Satoshi project. Other stuff like participating to some documentaries about Bitcoin, that was pretty cool. And I also wrote about self-sovereign identity and cryptography in a book. So there are many, I guess this slide is more like, come as you are. You might have different interest points. You might be shy, you might be more extrovert, you might be as you are. There are a lot of things that you can be doing in this space, and there is a match for you here, basically. That's it for me. Thank you. And if you have any question, let me know.
Thank you, Sajida. It was really great. It was lovely hearing yours and Shaiwei's personal anecdotes, stories behind Ethereum ecosystem, how you joined. I hope people here and also who are following the recording will find it motivational and encouraging. We have one more speaker for today. Let me welcome Sogol. She was one of the fellows of one of the cohorts of Ethereum Protocol Fellowship. So yeah, welcome Sogol.
Thank you so much, Pooja, for the introduction, and hello, everyone. It's a great pleasure just sharing my experience during the past 4 months in a very precious time being part of the fellowship cohort 4. So I am from Germany, and I have also similar to other people, I'm coming from the technical background. And I started my crypto journey when I just visited Miami and New York around 2018 from Europe. And I was really excited just to explore more and seeing like what people are talking about and what they are building on top of different ecosystems and everything. A lot of L1s were actually emerging back then, and try to somehow attract more developers on top of them. So I just leveraged this opportunity, trying different type of L1s. And I just sticked around Ethereum just because of the tech behind it and people, and also, of course, the tools and innovations. So since then, I just started contributing freely on that. So I said, like, I have founded a company that already is working and also is backed by VCs. However, still had, like, you know, the feeling like I just really love to contribute as like the individual to the core Ethereum. And wherever I found like the opportunity to find like an idea working on it, I just started building that. And that was like a very good time just for me just to practice on, you know, understanding the core and what are like the future of blockchain and Web3 in general. So for me, it was like, you know, sort of a very smooth time, just chasing people who were more knowledgeable in these spaces that I was interested. And I started with sort of reading a lot of resources on ETH research and, you know, just doing my stuff and just brainstorming with like-minded people, participating in these different events, etc. The last one, I just started with Harvard blockchain, and actually being part of that, that just also gave me like new nouns of understanding, you know, just contributing on Ethereum in general. And, you know, just being more a technical researcher than being like only coder. And my journey just went through it until the point where just late May 2023, I just realized that Ethereum just opens the door for a fellowship program. I was like, you know, very uncomfortable applying. I never thought that I would have a chance to be part of this cohort, since I've heard that they would only pick like 20 people as like, you know, a stipend, with a stipend, but in particular, that was like an open source fellowship. And I was back then thinking and dreaming of, you know, just adding some values, and just started, you know, kind of ideation about like some EIP. I remember very vividly, I was following and chasing Guillaume Ballet as like my idol. We're working on stateless Ethereum. And I just was trying to find like some connections to that kind of ideation, which I believe still like stateless Ethereum becomes like the next major change if that would be happen. And yeah, just started doing so, and I just applied a very last minute, and very, very fortunately, I got like the chance to get interviewed by Mario and Josh. And they were very interested about like, you know, the contributions and my historical kind of development stuffs. And I just presented my idea very passionately. And I was like, yeah, I'm working on such a thing. And I really love to, you know, just contribute on Ethereum as like the sort of EIP author or whatsoever. And if I would have the chance to be part of this fellowship, I would definitely leverage it as a best resource of collaborating and also being, you know, supported by the community. And again, just a few weeks afterwards, I was, you know, completely forgetting about the opportunity, and I was like, probably is something that is not for me. Of course, there are a lot of talents out there. Just, you know, imagine how many people just contributing daily on Ethereum Core. And I was completely, you know, frustrated if I would get some answer, but very last minute I realized that they just picked me, and I am eligible to have like the funding across you know, other applicants. And of course they made it like open source for everyone, and everyone just could join the program. The structure of the program was really, really amazing. I should admit, it was started first just by start of ETHCC in Paris, and team also Josh and Dave and Mario, sorry, have made like a breakfast for women in protocol and welcomed us very warmly. And a lot of other people were joining us, and, you know, we just had like the exchange and also shared our goals and plans for the Ethereum fellowship program. Very fortunately, I just made a lot of amazing connections there. And then that was kind of a 4-month cohort. Officially just started after ETHCC, and then we had like resources, just, you know, mentorship from every developer, core developer from the Ethereum Foundation. And that was like a very big privilege and honor just to work with people that you're just chasing before. and now you are able to work with them, brainstorm with them, just show your work and contribute to their work. And I just had like the chance to work with different people from different teams. So I possibly have started working with Guillaume himself, and then with Sina from Guest Team, and then I had like the chance to work with Tony and other people, just from the Portal Network. I just ended up also contributing on Portal Network, which were really supportive community there as well. And Piper made an amazing job in terms of letting us just being part of the weekly meetings, his team meetings, and just sharing our experiences. The entire EPF has like a structure following by weekly kind of stand-up meetings where all fellows were able to share their daily weekly kind of updates. We had like weekly goals for our projects, whether it was like research or coding or combination of that. I used this opportunity just to also publishing some sort of thoughts or articles during my work on ETH research, and you can definitely get more feedback from the community by doing so. So sharing your work and also sharing your thoughts and news. And I was really amazed by the supportiveness of people in the ecosystem, just responding to your thoughts or your articles or your codes, and getting that review, etc., etc. So there was a list of mentors that you could reach out to, without limits. As also Sajida mentioned, they are very open, very kind of humble people that are very supportive. And I had the chance to also work from the Ethereum office in Berlin for a while, and that was another amazing time for me, just to learn and just see from the closer distance, as Hsiao just also mentioned, how exactly the craziness of Ethereum is. And that was very much interesting, just being able to learn and contribute with them. And at the end, we had a demo. We had like kind of monthly demo days. The fellows were able to present their work. Having sort of their feedback from people. The main interesting thing I would highlight from the time I was part of this cohort was you as a developer, newcomer developer, or as a female developer, what you call it, are able to raise your opinions and being heard, and also get supports. And people were really encouraging you to just bringing new ideas, bringing sort of research, whatever you do, and also just bring it on the table, and just people just try to help it, or pitch it to people and find like collaborators. I was again lucky enough just having like the chance of working across different teams, just because of my EAP proposal, which was kind of agnostic to some levels, and some teams that were interested. Also, we're really lucky to have the chance to present in one of the community calls, and I just got like more feedbacks from the community from that side. And the at the end of the cohort, that was the Dev Connect, so in Istanbul. And there was an official demo day. We were presenting there and launched our kind of product, whatever that we did. And that was a very good time for us, just to show our efforts during the 4 months, and how we could add values and how we can move forward from there. So for me, like, was a very interesting time. I've learned a lot. I've just tried to add values to the community, and since then they just started a new type of pre-cohort kind of preparations, which I encourage everyone just to join. It is like a study group kind of period that you have like 3-4 months from scratch up. You can learn, study about like the core Ethereum core, also the architecture, just trying to polish your coding experience if you don't have it before, or find your blueprint in the ecosystem, and how you can contribute. And Also, people are very much active in Discord group. If you have questions, if you have like technical needs that you need to, have someone just check it out. You can also join some discussions there, and people are very, very active in that and very autonomous way, I would say. And I'm sure that everyone joins would definitely get some highlights on Ethereum, depending on yourself how deep you are going to go. And I just want to finish my experience with one sentence I've heard from people at EF. Is like contributing or working at EF is like similar to a similar experience to working on your own startup in a big startup. And this is a very good definition of Ethereum, I would say, which allows you just be very self-driven and follow your passion and do whatever you want and add values, and you would be appreciated for your contributions and for your values. And it is very equal, I would say. Like my experience was at least very, very amazing, because I didn't feel like any kind of differences between myself and any other type of developers, which was really adorable. And especially thanks to Mario, Josh, and also the team for having like a very special kind of support for female developers and honoring the woman in protocol. Yeah, that was like amazing time, and I wish that everyone would apply for the next cohort, joining this study group, and learn together and grow. At the end, I really appreciate you, Pooja and LaDonna, for this amazing gathering and all the efforts that you put to empower women in protocol. And yeah, super excited.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your experience. We are running really close to time to end, but we did want to give, to keep in the spirit of celebrating women, we wanted to give a few women the opportunity to introduce themselves and their experience. So we are going to jump quickly to Nico from EthStakers.
Hey, I'm Nixo. So I'm the executive director of EthStaker. We advocate for solo stakers. So we stay up to date on protocol research and provide resources, tooling for anybody who's staking. And our interest is keeping the protocol as decentralized as possible. And that often means like trying to understand protocol research that I don't necessarily have the qualifications to understand, because there isn't really a strong advocate for solo stakers. And they're so disparate and so separate that it's hard to have like a unified voice for them. The way that I got into this is I also got nerd sniped. I was an oceanographer before, and I started staking, and the longer that I was like in the community answering questions and just spending my time on staking stuff, I decided to leave my career in oceanography and go for something in Ethereum because it was more interesting to me.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. Next, I believe we have Paloma.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for like a lovely celebration of women, and I'll try to be as quick as possible. So I'm a Nigerian-based developer who started out in Web3 2022 with Web3Con and a hackathon. And since then, I've done like a lot of developer relations and community for Women Build Web3, Developer DAO, and most recently Tenderly, which is like a very nice set of like developer tooling for like simulations, debugging for Solidity and Ethereum developers. And moving forward, I'm trying to sort of like upskill technically so that I can do more. I mean, community contributions are nice, but I want to do more of technical contributions. So I'm currently doing the Encode Expert Solidity Bootcamp and also the Ethereum Protocol Studies study group thing that is like weekly, which is really nice. And so with all of that, like I'm trying to gain more knowledge and experience so that I can I can contribute to like the Ethereum space in a more technical way. And I think that's 2 minutes, and I'll stop talking. Thank you.
Paloma,
Thank you,
great.
Paloma.
Thank you. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. And again, we are just so honored to have so many women here today. And I want to say thank you for joining. I love that we get a chance to all be in the same room and celebrate each other. As we know, like working remotely distributed, we don't get a lot of opportunities to meet. And so we want to continue to have these meetups, online and in-person meetups. And so we will be reaching back out to find specifically what it is that would be beneficial to you. Are they more personal conversations? Are they getting you connected with mentors? Whatever it is you need, like we want to hear specifically how we can be of assistance to foster your goals, your dreams, whatever it is. That's what we are developing this group for. And also for everyone to feel like they are a contributor, to see the difference that they want to make and they want to see in the ecosystem. So again, thank you. And I will pass it back on to Pooja to close us out.
Thank you, LaDonna. And thank you, Nixo and Paloma. I really love EthStaker, and Tenderly, I personally use it for Ethereum cat holders. So that's a great one. As we wrap up this enlightening session, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our speakers. Thank you, all lovely self, for being part of this important movement. We hope WiEP will provide an opportunity for newbies to learn more about Ethereum and contribution to the development team to build Ethereum protocol. Let's get inspired and empower each other to make a difference in Ethereum ecosystem. For ladies, we have planned to have another session of meetup virtually, of course. That would be on April 5th at 1400 UTC. If you are not on Discord, it would be really great to have you all over there so we can keep passing information. We continue to share job opportunities and educational resources that we built up here around Ethereum Protocol Fellowship. So yeah, stay in touch, reach out to us via email, Twitter, or anything you find it easier to communicate with us. Happy International Women's Day to all of you. Thank you for joining us here today.